Hello. Good night, everybody. Everybody good? Everybody all right? This thing with China. Told you it was a show, didn't I? All of these things, whenever they start doing something big, it's to take your attention away from here, put it here, because we got a lot going on over here that we don't want you seeing. And this is the good thing with social media again. Social media, anybody can upload anything. It's just on you. Do you stand behind what you're doing? Because if you don't, yeah, you won't be doing what you're doing for long because they will test you, especially if it's something concerning the truth. In any case, this is what's going on in China.
What you're seeing now is not a scene from a movie. This is a real thing that's been happening in China. Many skyscrapers falling like dominoes from high-rise buildings to dust. And if you're only hearing about this now, that's because China is trying its hardest to hide it from the rest of the world. Because right now, Xi Jinping is facing a massive crisis that could threaten its place as a superpower in the world. A crisis that, if they do not control, is said to be 100 times worse than America's Great Recession. And that is exactly why in a country where protesting is a huge risk for citizens, thousands of people are out in the streets protesting anyway. The situation is so bad that Chinese people cannot take it anymore. So what exactly is happening in China and why does Xi Jinping want this video you're watching to be banned? It's pretty hard to believe, but this entire crisis starts with one simple idea. Chinese people's dream to own a house.
You hear that? All of this just because people wanted their house. Remember that thing what they closed down the banks for? Yeah, that had to do with this.
See, in China, owning a home is a huge deal for a person's status in the...
That's the case any and everywhere. Like having your own house, that's like one of the basic things everybody should have. Your house, your transportation, your food, and everything like that to get around. But your house and your transportation, these two things are important. That's why they play on them so heavily. Because they know these are what people need. These bastards play on people wants. You gotta focus on your needs and leave your wants alone until your needs are met.
So huge that people consider real estate when deciding who they will marry. In fact, data shows that a Chinese household allocates 70% of their wealth into houses. So you can just imagine how crazy rich this industry is. Only in recent years it got too rich, too fast.
And that's what's going on everywhere. Like with the coming crypto, a lot of people was making money. Now, what you gonna do? You're gonna invest in the things that you know you're supposed to be having a house. So this basically they now took down this because they realized now that people want more. I bet you now they're gonna start putting up more houses. I mean, but you shouldn't be playing with the people's money.
People were in such a rush to buy houses that developers would sell out complexes before even building them.
In China, people have very few outlets where they can earn a decent return on their savings, on their wealth. They have poured into the housing market in expectation of ever rising house prices.
They would blindly pay their...
And this is the thing, people. You see, that's what happened when you just want to make money easy. Might as well invest in yourself, that you know what you're doing every day, and build that way. When you got enough, when your own business is going and then you still got saved, now you could start putting your money into something else. But I would never put my money into anything that they doing. No, I'm gonna invest in people. That's where my money would go. Not in their companies, not in their governments, in people. But of course, people that you know is gonna be doing the thing the right way. Like that's on you, you know.
Mortgages, hoping all this hard-earned money they're giving away would multiply and make them rich
Yeah,
someday.
exactly.
And see, that is not such a crazy practice in reality if the developers would build all the homes they were buying.
Yeah, but this is the thing y'all gotta realize. The bastards in the governments are not there for your best interest. You investing in them, yeah, that's you giving them your money. You wanna be so stupid still? Well,
Except they didn't. World's biggest property companies like Evergrande took full advantage by using the money not for construction but to buy even more land. With this strategy, at one point, Evergrande was the biggest real estate company in Asia. Add to this the fact that local governments were enabling this shady practice because they were benefiting from it,
yeah, of
and you
course.
get a disaster
Yeah.
just waiting to unfold.
But I mean to say, really, like people still don't get it. People actually still think that the governments are on their side. Like anything that your government is involved in, let them handle it. People should be investing in other people or yourself. Like, but that you all still trust your governments and all of that foolishness, it's on you. Like, seriously. I don't feel bad for these people. Well, I do, but it's their own fault. You should know your freaking government. You as an adult should care enough to study and see what all of this really is. Like, but you all just want to believe.
Just like a pyramid scheme, all it takes is one exposed mistake for the whole thing to crumble. And when Evergrande missed one payment, everything started to fall apart. People started panicking. Some big banks had to freeze the deposits of their
Listen, people, besides this, all you had to do was make some petitions before you hand in the original. You make copies, send that out to a few people, and then you send it in. Just to make sure they don't come saying, oh, we lost it or some bullshit, because they will come with something. You got more people that got more copies. You yourself could have another copy, but you yourself should not be the only holder of that petition. Send it out to at least 10 other people that they also got the same thing. So we got witnesses that could see all of the names. So if any name get touched during that petition, we could put out and say something. Because this is what the people need. We need to have, when they coming out with some story about somebody, we could verify that and know if it's true or not. Because we don't know anything about each other is why they could say any shit. Because people don't talk about their salaries and how much they're making, even if it's only between your colleagues that is also working there, just so you know. You see, that's why, yeah, one person could be making one thing and somebody else could be making another, because there's no talking between each other. Same thing with voting, I would say. Before time, we would have been able to make an estimate of, okay, so many people voted for this. So if it turns out that something else played out, well, then we know that they played with the thing. Why? Because we know for ourselves how we voted. But right now, do people do that? You see, all of this secret stuff is not good. It's actually a lot worse for you, because everybody living in secret is why the bastards could hold a lot of people in position, and they could do so much because nobody ain't talking.
customers. Suddenly, people couldn't access their money.
A massive protest over frozen bank deposits.
We are talking about hundreds of billions of dollars lost in this scandal. But listen, when Chinese people started panicking, they got the courage to do something bold. Thousands of them stormed out of their houses and practically told their government, we are not paying our mortgages